Tarumbeta italia katika anga.
Like this. That is how the trumpet will sound.
Iko Nini. So yes, kuna swali niliambia Ogato abaki ameuliza Miguna, alafu vile Miguna aliulizwa akasema, with all due respect, that's a very stupid question. I've never had a question that's flagrantly stupid. So, wacha tusikia like what the question was and how we got here.
The guest who was here most recently left a question for you.
Okay.
The guest of episode 100, Mwafreeka, left a question for you.
What was the question?
And you're also going to get an opportunity to actually leave a question for our guest 102, Honorable Hulda Hitsley of Minneapolis State Legislature. And so your question is, why did you not consider the offer from Sonko to be the deputy governor, considering you would have done a great job? This is an assumption that you would have been able to enter Kenya.
So, kicheki vile niliuliza hii swali, kuna wase wale washawachi podcast wale walikuwa like, Mwaf, he's disrespected you. How can you take that? Why are you not angry? It's because najua Miguna. That's why even kicheki the question, the way I framed the question, ilikuwa considering you'd have done a great job. Because I've said that. I think Miguna would do a better job than all the governors that we've had so far. But I also knew that this is like me. Is it opening the Pandora's box? Like Miguna had a very bad relationship with that government here, Uhuru Kenyatta, and with Matiang'i as the CS. So anything about around your time, najua that's around the time alianza kuitaga Uhuru despot. So najuaga around your time anakuwaga very angry when he's asked about his decisions during your time. Why? Because he was not even allowed to enter the country. So with me asking this question, I'm asking yes, to a certain level it's a stupid question, but it was just, that's why nikatumia jina consider. Why did you not consider? But wacha tusikie vile aliansa.
So with all due respect to the person who is asking the question, and I didn't want to be rude, but the question is stupid.
Okay.
I will answer it nonetheless. No, I have to say it. The question is flagrantly stupid. But I will answer it. Firstly, I didn't recognize Sonko in the elections of 2017, and it's a matter of public record, right?
So your part, he did not recognize Sonko, and he says it's a matter of public record. I'll have to disagree and say I didn't know that. I didn't know that hakuwa na recognize Sonko. I didn't know it was a matter of public record. I didn't know that. So yes, hapo nitajitetea niseme hivyo. But it's interesting to find out hivyo, because I think around that time in 2017, the main thing that came to our minds was the annulled presidential elections, and also tukikam to yeye, the other thing that comes to mind is the fake swearing in at inaitwa Uhuru Park. So those are the two things that come to mind. His election versus akina Sonko, I think that one we push it uko nyuma. Why? Because he, in quotes, lost miserably. Mimi anakumbuka hiyo time because nilivotigi place. Where did I vote? Kariako. Of course nilivotia because it was him, Kidero na Sonko. Yes, and to me he was the best guy. Gave him the vote. Of course, I knew I was in quotes wasting the vote because he wouldn't win. But I would lie to myself that maybe Nairobi wanted change. And you come and find out super fast that Nairobi does not want change. Why? Because this guy would have changed Nairobi. That's one thing that I'll never take away from him. I think he'd have done a great job. But wacha tuendelee.
So, and Sonko was my opponent. And during the campaign, and I think some of you have the memory and have probably watched some of the clips. I said Sonko was part of the cartels. I said that publicly on TV. I said it repeatedly. I tabled evidence as to why Sonko was a cartel.
Yes, so history, he said it publicly. Yes, during his debating, this guy was a problem. I remember when he debated Sonko and Mike Mbuvi, and Sonko and Peter Kenneth. And damn, he destroyed them. Ali destroy mpaka Peter Kenneth, ali bring up stories za Kenya Ri. Because don't forget, during that time, Peter Kenneth alikuwa mweupe kama pembe. Mpaka mapamba, shit. Mweupe kama pamba. Yeah, si pembe. And yeah, so Alibaki may bring up that, like, wiped the floor with him, wiped the floor with Sonko's criminal record. So yes, that I remember. And I think around the same time, at some point, I think wali clash. Around your period, wali clash na Esther Passaris, akaita Esther Passaris bimbo. So yeah.
I not only did that, I proved that Sonko had a criminal record. Sonko had been jailed in Shimolatewa prison for fraud. Sonko escaped from jail illegally, ran away from jail, took permission to go and bury his mother, and did not go back to jail and changed his name.
Hiyo kitu najua inakuwaga very interesting. This is one of the reasons why tunaitanga Kenya shithole. Like the fact that this guy, it's in the public record that he did not finish his sentence at Shimolatewa, that he faked his death. That's in the public domain, and somehow he got away with it. And it is like, just got away with it, and it's okay. It's just another Sunday in Nairobi. Like, let's continue with life like it's normal. Hizo ni vitu zile waga zinakushtua sana. Like, sometimes kusikia mse kama Miguna akirepeat this, it makes you realize that yes, this guy got away with that.
So that when they came for him, he was a different person. But it's just because they didn't want to arrest him. That's how Sonko became Sonko. Okay?
Yes, that's how Sonko became Sonko. This is very interesting because nakumbuka mimi mwenyewe, like, the first time I ever heard about Sonko ilikuwa, I don't know what had happened, but I know he was running. There was a by-election. I don't know what had happened, but kulikuwa na a by-election. And during your by-election ya Kamkunji, somehow he ended up being the front runner. And I remember hearing that story that kuna mse fulani waga kuna mama Triza Buru anaitwa Sonko. Huo boy ndiye anaenda kushinda anaenda kushinda inaitwa nini place Kamkunji. If I'm not wrong, I think Robo ndiye aliniambia juu yake. Afu kuna shida huni nani anaitwa Sonko. Of course, hii time yote I didn't know about his criminal past. And then of course we ended up knowing the Sonko that we know today, who's like one of the biggest politicians in Kenya. And apart from that, this is a guy with that shady past, and still a guy that even today stands up and says he wants to be president, and it's okay. And if he tried to run for president, I think IEBC would still clear him, even with the fact that the public knowledge that he never finished his sentence at Shimolatewa. It shows you how pathetic this country is. And also the fact that a lot of Kenyans know that this guy did not finish his sentence. And if you have to tell them that, they'll tell you something like, ijalishi, huu ni mwizi wetu. Kumbuka time ya Ruto, when people are saying that Ruto is going to loot the country clean, watu walikuwa wanasema ataka ni mwizi wetu. Then now, saizi juu watu wapendi Ruto, kwa ni mwizi. No. Ile time kuna campaign, mulisema ataka ni mwizi wetu. So the same thing, if you were to let Sonko end up being president and he ends up doing funny stuff, you can't then turn around and say that Sonko is misbehaving. Why? Because you know who he is and you know that he's a criminal. So, but wacha tuendelee na Miguna and his reasons. So, Miguna's reasons make sense. Okay, tuendelee.
Okay? If you look at Sonko's name, those are not his names. Movie, whatever, those are just names he made. So that's on the one side. So anyone with memory, and this guy was there, alive and an adult, would have remembered, number one, Miguna did not recognize Sonko. Number two, these are the things Miguna said about Sonko. How then does Miguna deputize the person that he didn't recognize?
So hapo, I'll take that as a loss. The fact that he did not recognize him, I did know that he did not recognize him. So, okay, my bad.
And say he's a crook. Secondly, did the person actually know that Sonko nominated me?
Okay, mwechiki hapa Miguna aliuliza, did I know if Sonko nominated him? And I think there I'll say that Miguna is being dishonest, because him being nominated by Sonko was, it's in the public domain. It's public record. Like if you even Google Sonko nominates Miguna, the AI overview itakuwa ni in May 2018, Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko nominated controversial lawyer and political activist Miguna Miguna as his deputy governor, sending the name to the county assembly for vetting and approval, citing constitutional requirements and a desire for reconciliation after deportation and previous clashes. The nomination, following pressure from MCAs to fill the vacant post, surprised many but was seen by Sonko as applying the spirit of the handshake for unity, though Miguna's lack of a Kenyan passport and his contentious past with the government presented immediate hurdles. So, do I think Sonko offered this Miguna in the spirit of a handshake? No, I don't think that. But did he offer this? Yes, he offered this. Why did he offer it? It was a FU to Uhuru Kenyatta. Why? Because Uhuru Kenyatta had wanted Sonko to run and be the governor with Igathe as his deputy, but the plan was for Sonko to be a flower girl and Igathe was to run the city. And of course, after they won, Sonko was like, no, I won the governorship, and the only reason I won the governorship was because of me. No one knows who the F you are. And in the process, Igathe ended up resigning, and when he resigned, that post became vacant, the deputy governor position, and ikakuwa like, oh, that post ikistay vacant, kuna vile nani ana break the law, naitwa Sonko. But Sonko nominating Miguna was more about Uhuru Kenyatta than it was about Nini. It was more about Uhuru Kenyatta than it was about stories hizo nani deputy governor. Alafu pia apart from that, of course, even nini watu wanaitwa nini, the Star ended up running an article about Sonko nominating Miguna. So I think Miguna is being very dishonest akisema that, how do I know? I know that because it was in the public domain. And yes, I think the Star walikuwa na Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko has nominated Miguna Miguna as his deputy. Sonko made the shocking announcement on Wednesday evening in a letter to the Speaker of the County Assembly, Beatrice Elachi. He said Miguna meets all the requirements provided for in the Constitution. In regard to the Supreme Court advisory to the appointment of a deputy governor upon the seat falling vacant, I hereby forward my nominee, lawyer Miguna Miguna, to undergo a full vetting process and approval by County Assembly, blah, blah, blah. So that happened. So, Miguna, there you're lying for you to claim that this never happened. But tuendelee.
Because how do you nominate somebody you have never spoken to? Sonko never spoke with me.
Okay, that one I didn't know, that you'd never spoken. I assumed that he called you, because around this time, Sonko was going through hell. Uhuru was also going after him with the corruption cases. These corruption cases would be eventually lead to his impeachment. So, but I didn't know they'd not spoken.
Right? So he couldn't have nominated me because he never spoke with me. And I never accepted the nomination, because that's what a nomination is. Okay? Thirdly, and finally, Sonko was facing impeachment for corruption and for failure to replace a deputy governor who had resigned.
So yeah, hiyo ni kwa ni stories za replace Igathe. But I think the main thing that stood out there was the corruption. And yeah, I think it was corruption around 350 million. Uhuru really went at him for that.
If you recall.
Igathe, was it Igathe?
Yes,
yeah.
Igathe, who is as corrupt as Sonko himself. And so in that thing, my name was being used for diversionary reason. The same way Trump is using Maduro and Venezuela because he does not want the Epstein files to be in the news. The same thing here.
So I think about it differently. I don't think Sonko was using this as a diversionary. Sonko was trying to tell Uhuru, yes, you might hate me and you might hate the fact that the deputy governor that you gave me resigned. But what if I was to give you a deputy governor that you hate even more? And that's Miguna. I think in Sonko's world, he still thought that somehow if Miguna accepted, somehow Miguna would have been able to get into the country, which of course was impossible. Why? Because Uhuru Kenyatta and Matiang'i never used to respect court orders. So the fact that the courts walikuwa nasema that Miguna is a Kenyan and Miguna is allowed to be in Kenya, these two decided to come up with some stuff. Oh, he don't sign this when he was coming into the country. Oh, he holds a Canadian passport. Oh, so it led to the public deportation. So I think Sonko, nominating Miguna, I'll keep saying that, was just an FU to Uhuru Kenyatta. And of course, he hoped that nani angekuja, but I think he also knew deep down that Uhuru and Matiang'i were not going to respect any court order that would allow Miguna into the country.
Sonko goes to a man of integrity and says, I've nominated him because he's an affix. How stupid would I be to get him out of the fix that he deserves? A position that he ought not to have been in. Because Sonko should never have been governor.
Okay. Sonko should never have been governor. Why? Of course, criminal past. That means he needs to be finish his sentence at Shimalatewa. But two, history a degree inakuwaga like Sonko. Does Sonko have a degree? And if he has a degree, did he earn it? Like half a degree yake, it's a degree in what? I'd want to know. Because damn.
In a properly governed society, even Sakaja should never have been governor. Because Sakaja does not even have a university degree. You see, and you need a university degree to run for elections. And Ruto goes to Uganda and tells Museveni, give this guy a fake degree so that he can run. And that's exactly what happened. This university Sakaja is supposed to have gone to is, this corner stores here where you go, convenience stores. And on top of it, people live, and downstairs there's a convenience store. That's the university. Upstairs.
It's called Teams University.
On top of a convenience store.
Okay.
With nobody inside.
So yeah, even ndio nani ali-answer that. So kuna swali kwa nashindwa kwa nini I didn't get offended and why am I not angry? I'm not angry because I know the sort of person that Miguna is. Miguna is very confrontational. And also I respect that period, that the Uhuru presidency to Miguna will always be that wound that never heals. Why? The way they treated him was very disrespectful, and yes, alafu pia the complete disregard for court orders that used to happen during that time. And for me to ask a question which I know, like deep down I know that he would not have been allowed into the country. So I think one of the things that niliput kwa hiyo swali ni considering. Why did you not consider? Yes, nilimuuliza kwa nini hakuconsider, because he didn't even consider it. Najua even if it was impossible for him to come into the country, he didn't consider that. And that's just what I wanted to know. Why? Because sometimes I feel like if you have to go through the window, go through the window. And I feel like Miguna would have been very good for Nairobi. I still feel he'd be good for Nairobi, but do I think Kenya will ever nominate a Miguna? No, I don't think Kenya will ever elect a Miguna type. We will always elect these two clowns. So say that a Miguna amesema he's going to run for president. Do I think anyone is going to vote for him? No, we want the thugs. We want the people who know how to steal public funds. That's just what we want. And then after tusha electa say, then tutakuwa kwa streets tukiwaita mwizi and all this nonsense. Tutaanza kuwaita all the nicknames in this world, and these nicknames are cool, but they don't bring change. At the end of the day, change starts with CC, and prevention is better than cure. You'd rather nominate someone ama elect someone who's full of integrity, someone who hata akiongea una understand, like you can idea this is what they're going to do, this is what they're going to do. But CC, we don't want that. Tunataka to nominate ama to elect mtu useless, alafu akianza kutuibia tuanze complain, and it becomes cool to complain, where if you don't complain then you are an enemy of the people. When you're there busy telling people like, you know what, there's a way we can avoid all this, and the way to avoid all this, instead of electing these crooks, why don't we elect this good guy? Wanakuambia zizi, that good guy does not have charisma, oh he does not have this, does not have this. And then once in a while you have people who have charisma, like the likes of Akina Morara, who show up and they have charisma and they tell you, but I don't have any financial backing because I've not stolen your public funds. So because of that, I might need you to help me to raise campaign funds. Then the same people are like, no, you're trying to get rich off our money. We don't want you to get rich off our money, although it's legal and we are the ones giving you the small contributions. We want that guy who's going to steal all the money that's meant for hospitals and put it into his private pocket. That's the guy that we want. So tunakuwa stuck in this situation whereby I don't know where we are going as a country. So yes, but that was a good answer from Miguna Miguna. Am I angry? No, I'm not angry. Did I expect anything less from Miguna? No. And maybe this is an opportunity for me pia kukuremind. Fika hapo Couch Connect, baki umecheck out Ogato. Yes, episode 101. That's Miguna, only one-on-one. That's Miguna. Alafu episode 100. I was there keeping it 100. So baki umefika kwa the Couch Connect. And Iko Nini.